let's talk about how it works on a purchase in a little bit more detail. First step, reach out to us. Let's get you approved. We're going to look at your income, we're going to look at your credit, and we're going to approve you for amount of loan amount that you're comfortable with. Not, you can choose, we'll tell you how much the max you qualify for, and you can pick a number that you're comfortable. Now within that amount, right, a section of that is going to be for the solar financing. Now, as a part of that approval process, we're going to talk to you about what your energy needs are, and then also if you have a solar company that you want to work with, or you want to use one of our preferred ones, either way is just fine. We can work with different ones, but we need to get a general idea of the size of solar system that you need, right? So we want to get an idea of both of those numbers. Then we're going to send you out house shopping. Now, house shopping, you can use a real estate agent, one that you know, one that we know, or you can go it alone. All are good. But as you're out shopping for a house, you want to look for a house that is the one that you want, right? You don't need to worry about if it's old or new. Basically, just find the best house that fits your wants and goals and desires, right? Now, as a part of that process, once you've found that house, you're going to offer just like you would on a traditional purchase. So, an offer letter, usually there's earnest money, and you're basically trying to get the best deal that you can on that house. Now, when you purchase a house, traditionally from the time that the offer is accepted to the time that it closes, there's usually about a 30-day window. Inside of that 30-day window, there's something called a financing contingency deadline, and that's important in this transaction because when you find that house, between there and the financing contingency deadline, we're going to send that solar company or a home inspection that you choose out to that house, and they're going to look at it in a lot more detail. How's the electrical system? How's the roof? Will this panels or will this house support the size, or is it south facing, west facing? All those finer details, they're going to go out and do that in between the time that the offer is accepted and that financing contingency deadline. Now that inspector, that solar company, is going to come back and they're going to give you a report, and they're basically going to say, okay, here we thought we were going to do this size, we can go bigger, we can go smaller, it's going to be cheaper, it might be a little bit more expensive, we should do these, you could do these other energy efficient things, right? It gives us a chance to finalize those different things. And then once we have that information, we'll present to you, here's the final numbers. This is exactly what we'll look at. And as long as it's before that financing contingency deadline, that will leave you, let's say the numbers are worse than expected, right? And it's, maybe they uncover some problems. Well, you can back out of that transaction and get your earnest money back at that time. So there's a safety net right there. Now, if you go through, you like the numbers, it's better, and everything is all copacetic and it's going to be good, then wow, we just keep going. After that financing contingency deadline, usually it closes about a week after that. Appraisal gets done, all those different things that get done. And then what happens is, at the time of closing, right, you'll close on the transaction, you'll sign up the title company, usually the same day or the day after, depending on where you live, the transaction will fund. When it funds and records, the seller gets their money. The title company will disperse it to the seller, to any real estate agents and anything else that's involved in a traditional purchase transaction. Basically what we do is we combine your mortgage and that solar financing at the same time. So as those funds are dispersed, the title company or your closing attorney will disperse 50% of whatever the bid amount was for the solar and the energy efficiency. So I'm going to use some round numbers. Let's say it was a $20,000 solar bid. They're going to set aside $10,000, and that'll go to the solar company. The solar company, right, or the installer will then install the solar panels on your roof and any other improvements. Once those things are done, we send an appraiser back out to your property to confirm everything's done, and then at that point, after it's all done and completed and you're good with it, then we disperse the remaining 50% to the solar company or the installation company. So the reason we do it like that is a couplefold. One, make sure we're protecting you as a customer. Two, it keeps the seller, when I say seller, it keeps the person who's selling the home from being able to say yes or no to the transaction. In the past, doing it before it closed, the seller would have had to agree to it. But now, since the seller doesn't own it, we don't start installation until you're the technical owners on the property. That's why it allows us to combine everything, and that's what keeps it flowing nice and smooth and simple. So that's the purchase Lowtility program in a little more detail.